Hey guys, Mike here from Panther Hollow Sporting Optics. Hope this video finds you well. Today we're looking at a new build. This Macmillan U1 stock is becoming quickly one of my favorite stocks to run. I really like the thumb shelf on here. I just really like the ergonomics of this stock. Now, the Dura-coat is obviously a one-off. It's going to be very hard to duplicate, and that was done by yours truly right here because I was wanting to see how many colors I could slap on there my first time. So I got 4 colors on there, and I think the pattern turned out really cool looking. If you're interested in looking at this like a walk around, the pattern, you can go to Panther Hollow Facebook, and I posted a video of this rifle out in the woods, and you can kind of see what it looks like more up close and the walk around look of it. It turned out really sweet, I think. And like I said, that's my first time. So I'm going to be doing some more rifles, some of my own stuff before I start doing it for other people, because I want to make sure I have the technique down. But thus far, I'm really liking what I see. What do we got inside the stock? Well, we have a Defiance action. We have a benchmark. Okay, this is a benchmark carbon fiber wrap barrel. It's their carbon fiber wrap technology. This is a cut barrel, not a pulled barrel. So a lot of barrels that I shoot are button pulled barrel. This is actually a cut rifled barrel. This is their premium barrel. I always wonder what the premium stuff is like compared to, like, you know, some of the lower end stuff. And even when you talk about carbon fiber, there's not really any lower end stuff. They're all expensive. But you know, some more. So this barrel right here is almost $1,000, chambered up and everything. So I mean, it's not cheap. Where you talk about like Excalibur, OMR, and some barrels like that, and you've seen some an OMR barrel I got up here behind me and I shoot, and I like it really well. That's one of my favorite guns. So I have a lot of high expectations for this barrel. I've not shot it yet. I've not done anything to it. I just literally got this assembled last night. We have a Hellfire, which is one of the staples here. We have a track scope, another great optic in that you know, $1,500 to $2,000 range is kind of a happy range in optics. You get a lot for the money most of the time. And then on the bottom metal here, this bottom metal is kind of interesting. This is APA's bottom metal. It has a little release right here. I got my little dog going crazy upstairs. He scratched his back on the carpet. Anyways, this is APA bottom metal. It releases with your thumb. So you push down and push back in. There's no big ears sticking out here for the mag release, which, you know, I'm getting used to it. I like it. I really like the barricade stop on it, and it looks really slick in the rifle. So what are the plans? Why are we talking about this? What are we going to do? Well, I get emails asking me, you know, when I put a new barrel on, what's the first thing do you do? Asking me, what's my first step after I put a barrel on? Well, after I put a barrel on, the first thing I do when I get ready to shoot the barrel first thing I do is clean it. That's the first step. Okay. Second step is you're going to have to find where the bullet is in relation to the lands. Everybody that watches my channel, I'm assuming, knows how to clean a rifle. Pretty straightforward stuff. And if not, there's a whole bunch of demonstrations on YouTube on rifle cleaning and the stuff to use for cleaning, and that varies from person to person on what everybody likes and doesn't like, and so on and so forth. So let's get to it. Stand by. All right, guys, with the new rules on YouTube, I'm not sure what I can show here, but I took the bolt out. That's a pretty easy process. I took the cheek piece off. This is your comparator tool. You stick it in here like this. You make sure that the red piece and the gray piece are separate. Make sure that you can slide it back and forth. You press on the red, make sure it's bottomed all the way out. Push against the gray piece, which is pushing on your bullet. take it out like so. And then you have your length from base to ogive, which is what you're after, is that base to ogive measurement. You take your comparator tool that goes on your calipers. You make sure you have the right piece in here for 6.5 millimeter. I think it is a 26 for a 264. And the measurement is 2.246. And I know that these RDFs like about a 30 thousandths jump, so that's where I'll start my loading process, is around that area. I already have an idea of what I'm going to run in this thing based off some other 6.5s I've had with the same twist rate. And we're going to go from there. So the next step is to clean the rifle, so I'm going to clean it. Then we're going to go up to the range, and we're going to shoot it a little bit, see how it acts, and go from there. Stand by. All right, guys, I was really impressed with the way the machining is in this barrel. I mean, it is super, super clean. Crown Ridge chambered this for me, and you can see there's a little bit of debris right there that I got to get out. That's why you clean these things. But almost a mirror finish in there in the chamber. I mean, excellent job on the machining. Just a nice mirror finish. You jump up in there to the lands are right there. We'll look at those right there. Nice and uniform, nice and square, nice and straight. We'll go on down the barrel here a little bit. Just inspecting the barrel after I cleaned it. I mean, there's still a little debris in there we got to get out. And this is a cut rifle barrel, so this is one of the smoother cuts I've seen. I've seen some other cut rifle barrels that weren't quite this clean. Nice, clean riflings all the way down the board. And you're paying a premium for this barrel, so it ought to be premium. I mean, it's really, really nice from what I can see. I'm going to say one of the top barrels I've looked at. So we got a little debris right there we got to get out. Now a lot of that's about the size of the end of a pin. It's not very much. A little machining marks there. Not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. A little bit of debris right there. Otherwise, guys, it looks great. I mean, it's freaking super looking. I just want to show you that. Very impressed. I've looked at several barrels, and this is in the top 2 or 3 that I've ever looked at. I mean, this is really, really nice. Of course, again, you're paying for that niceness, right? So it should be. All right, we're going to get her loaded up, and I'm going to get the rest of that debris out of there. Get her loaded up, and start shooting this one. So, guys, this is why. Just a quick note, this is why a bore scope is so handy. I can tell that barrel's clean. I mean, I've run a few patches through it. The first few patches I run through there, I got a bunch of machining oil and stuff out that was in there. You don't ever want to shoot with that stuff in there. I mean, you're just gonna run it right down your riflings. And so you need to clean it first. That's why a bore scope is very important. Stand by. All right, guys, next step is we're just going to Boresight this thing. So I'm going to aim at we've got a big white deer down there. I'm going to aim at him and look down the bore. Looks to be low, so I'm going to come up some. All I'm doing is just looking down the bore of the rifle. I'm looking at the deer and I'm coming up in the scope. Just lining up what I see on the deer. So somewhere in there is going to be pretty close to the body of that deer. Now we're just going to put this back together here. See where we're at here. Put some earmuffs on. Send one of these RDS downrange. Let's see how close we got. So we're high. Come down. Now one thing to note, this is a hand lap barrel, so it's not gonna be 2 shots clean, 2 shots clean. I'm gonna shoot 3 or 4 or 5, and I'm gonna clean it and see how it looks and go from there. See where this is at on the deer. Still a little bit high, so I'm up in the upper shoulder. All right, guys, really couldn't see the deer that well. That camera doesn't zoom in very far. Long story short, we're on the deer. Mainly what I'm trying to do here is just get this thing sighted in. Then we'll shoot a few groups. It's super windy outside, so the audio is gonna suck if I move a camera outside. So let me get this sighted the rest of the way in here. All right, so it's just time to get some rounds on paper here and see how this barrel's gonna shoot. Stand by. All right, guys, we got a few things going on. First thing we got going is we got a bunch of wind. So it's not going to affect the groups, but I can't put a camera down range because it literally blew my camera stand over. So I'm going to shoot this and we're going to show you the group after we get done shooting. It's just part of it, making videos. You got to do it when you got time, and it kind of is what it is. It's like in a match. You have to shoot the condition in which you're dealt. So this is our condition today. I'll show you what this barrel performs like. And then we'll go back to the bench and we'll go over kind of this APA bottom metal, show you how nice and tight it fits, and look at the groups off of this barrel. Most of you guys are pretty familiar with the track scope. They're great scopes for the money. It's one of my top picks for a mid-level scope. So I'm going to shoot here. I want to bore you with that, and then next time you see me, we'll be at the bench going over some of this stuff in the groups. Stand by. All right, guys, we got the target here. You can see this first target was this after sight in. I shot here just to see where it's at. I was aiming at the tip of one of these triangles you can see on the other side. But this was the first one. This is 1.5, and then I'm sorry, this is number 1. It's 1.25. Then number 2 is 1.25, but it shot 2 together. That gave me a little bit of promise there. So we went to number 3 over here, and it shot a 0.75. We shot 3 more rounds at number 4 for the 4th group, and that was 0.75. So it's showing a little bit of promise. And again, this is not a load that's developed for this gun. It's for another 6.5 that I have. And then we go over here to the end, and it got really interesting. So continuing the trend to the right, it shot 3 more rounds. I shot 3 more rounds right here, 0.75, just like the group before. Then I cleaned everything out. I had 2 oil shots here, which that's to be expected when you clean a barrel. Got all the oil out of it, and it started shooting. The first couple rounds are right here, and the rest landed right here. So groups number 6, 7, and 8 are right here. That's 15 rounds right there. So you take those 2 out and those 2 right there, when it actually started shooting in good, you got about a 1/2 inch. If you count these 2 right here, which these 2 flyers, and again, this load is not developed for this barrel, it still shot a 0.75. If you count all of them together, okay, all 15, so 15, 67, that's 18 rounds. If you count all 18 rounds, it shot 1.25 inches with the oil shots in there. So kind of what I expected to see. I see barrels break in like this quite often. Some of them start out as kind of a scatter gun, and then they kind of work their way in. And we got a total of 30 rounds on this guy. Back this up a little bit here. So we got a total of 30 rounds in this barrel, on this barrel right now. So my plan is to go ahead and clean it up real good, take it back down to the metal, and then develop a load for this barrel. So far, so good. Is the benchmark barrel worth the extra money? Well, that is yet to be determined. It seemed like it broke in pretty quick. It broke in about 30 rounds. Some of the, like my OMR barrel, took around 75 rounds before it started really shooting good. So if you figure the rounds and you figure the money that it cost to build those rounds versus the money to, you know, to go towards the extra for the barrel, it's almost a wash. So is there an advantage to hand lapping versus non-hand lap barrels? Yes, there is. There is some advantage there. As far as the dividends at longer range, that is yet to be determined. So we're going to get back to the bench here and we'll talk a little further. Stand by. Okay guys, you can see that APA bottom metal there. Nice tight fit. Looks really good. Again, my favorite thing on that bottom metal is that barricade stop. Really like that barricade stop. So there's a close-up look at the APA bottom metal. There's the little mag release right there. Nice tight fit. This is a Macmillan stock. It's cut out for M5. So there we go on that guy. Stand by. All right guys, final closing thoughts here. You kind of seen what I did as far as setting up the gun, finding the lands, and going through that exercise. We shot it. We cleaned it every 3 to 5 rounds. It really depends on the barrel itself. On a barrel that's not hand lapped, I'm going to go every 2 rounds clean, 2 rounds clean, 2 rounds clean. On this guy, I went 3 rounds clean, 3 rounds clean, and then I started shooting groups because the patches started looking pretty good. So it didn't require a whole bunch of break-in. So I think this barrel is ready to go. It's ready to go shoot. The trigger I'm using is a Trigger Tech 2-stage green diamond. Now I got guys ask me what kind of triggers I prefer. I like the two-stage trigger. Excuse me. I like the 2-stage triggers. The green diamonds, I like those really well by Trigger Tech, and I also like the 2-stage blue triggers by Timony. They have a little bit different feel to them, but they're really good triggers. APA bottom metal. If you guys are looking for bottom metal, check out APA. I'm satisfied with this. I really like it. Plan on getting some more. And we got benchmark barrels. This barrel here has got some very high expectations to live up to. We'll do a follow-up video on this. And then we got the Dura-coat done by yours truly. Guys, let me know what you think about the color. I'm getting ready to Dura-coat another rifle here. And we'll see how it turns out. I'm probably not going to go as many colors as I did this one just because I wanted to see what it looked like. Try my hand at it. And so far, so good. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.